shop they've been talking about on the radio? Want another accommodation?
That broad has socks in it, Brazil.
You can drive.
Extra, read all.
Papers. Solve that big case.
What are you...
You're behind the wheel.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Any ideas?
We got called to Central, Phelps. We can't leave until we're done there. Come on.
Can you drive to this one? You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
I want to make homicide. I mean, you know you've made it if you got that desk.
What do you think?
If the brass are handling Dahlia evidence, they'll have it locked up in the tech services dungeon. Let's go.
What now?
If the brass are handling Dahlia evidence, they'll have it locked up in the tech services dungeon. Let's go.
I don't have time for this, detective.
Is somebody going to tell us what the hell is going on?
He's the cop that arrested that movie producer. It's about time some of those movie people went to jail. They think they're untouchable.
Hey, don't mind me. I survived the war for this.
I'm stumped. Ideas? So what next?
If the brass are handling Dahlia evidence, they'll have it locked up in the tech services dungeon. Let's go.
Seems like it.
It's a 5-star, goddamn. See him? I saw his picture in the paper. He worked that case with the lady cut up like the devil.
Hey, don't mind me.
One nice thing about egotists, they don't talk about others.
So you're the first in this family born without a tail.
The only reason some people get lost in thought is because it's
I'm just praying the prince come through so I can nail the son. This is outrageous.
I don't have time for your song and dance right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down to 1 round.
See him? Saw his picture in the paper. Worked that case with the lady cut up like the Dahlia. Mister, a man like you always loses a battle of wits because... Stripped off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
So I can nail the son.
That price is outrageous.
Say, can I borrow some of that mascara? I'm going to memorize your name and throw my head away.
I survived the war for this. Hey, don't mind me.
She wants a 5-star. God damn it.
I'm telling you, it'll never stick, and you'll get roasted.
Somebody gonna tell us what the hell is going on? My wife is so dumb. She's scared to want you out.
Hoodlums in jail.
You know the way. You can drive.
And where exactly are we going?
have another spoon?
Two peanuts for walking the street. One was assaulted.
You want a tip?
I'm not with him for the conversation.
That looks like a beauty.
That broad has socks in it.
Can you drive to this one?
All units, officer needs help. 415 and shots fired. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. Unit to handle code 3 identify.
This is 11K. We'll handle the 415.
11K, officer needs help. 415 shots fired. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 11K, code 3.
Why don't you come on out, Jimmy? I won't let them hurt you. Not my honey boy.
I told you not to call me that, woman. Now shut the hell up!
You shut the hell up!
That the lady of the house?
It's a nice story. Two old lovebirds just moved in together. But they had a falling out, and he chased her across the yard with a 12 gauge. Now it's him or us.
Get the bastard! Officer down! Let him have it!
All units also needs help. 415 and shots fired. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. 313 Bunker Hill Avenue. Unit to handle code 3 identified.
You can take it if you want, or not. We're not the only cops in this town.
Why don't you come on out, Jimmy? I won't let them hurt you. Not my honey boy.
I told you not to call me that, woman. Now shut the hell up!
You shut the hell up!
That the lady of the house?
It's a nice story. Two old lovebirds just moved in together. But they had a falling out, and he chased her across the yard with a 12 gauge. Now it's him or us.
Get the bastard! Officer down! Give yourself up! Now!
Wine, look at him.
You're a cop killer! Reinforcements are on the way. Cease and desist.
What have they done to you?
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
That price is outrageous.
It's him!
I'm at a loss.
We got called to Central, Phelps. We can't leave until we're done there. Come on.
Cop from the newspapers.
See him? Saw his picture.
I understand you, but thousands wouldn't. Goddamn Harry.
You're behind the wheel.
I'm out of here.
Heap upon thy soul by virtue of this curse.
That's why we called you in.
Do you think it's original?
Not unless he's a genius.
You like this nutjob's poem?
No, I like Shelley. It was written at least 100 years ago.
Shelley. Sure, I knew that.
You see, Finnis? I told you this lad was a bright boy.
Sure, but what has it got to do with the case?
Prometheus Unbound. Prometheus was a titan, a superhuman character who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity.
The Dahlia guy believes he's Superman.
Your guess is as good as mine. One thing for sure is that he's educated. What about the link to the Henry case?
He could have got the wording from the papers. As you said, he is fiendishly clever and takes pleasure in taunting us. What's happening with the Maldonado case?
We have the husband in custody. We haven't interviewed him yet.
Well, upstairs then, lads, and see if we can break him.
I heard he's an honest cop. Now there's an oxymoron.
Improved your attitude, Angel?
What do you want me to say? I was with Antonia the night she died, but she left the apartment, and that was the last time I saw her. Quit staring at me like that. Quit staring at me like that.
So your wife paid you a visit last night. What time was that?
Late, around midnight, maybe? She didn't stay long.
So if you didn't kill your wife, who did? You better come up with something, Angel. This doesn't look good.
Fuck you. I loved my wife.
You're good, kid. You murder your wife and you just sit there as cool as a cucumber.
You and your wife weren't getting along. She was divorcing you. Is that why you killed her?
We fought, yeah, but we weren't getting a divorce.
You deny killing your wife?
Of course I deny it. Why would I kill my woman?
Your wife has been brutally murdered. So how do you explain your shirt being covered in blood?
You found that? I cut myself shaving.
You're lying through your teeth. You killed her and your brother's in on it.
You don't know what you're saying. Why would I do that? Hippolito's my brother. But he would never lie for me about killing Antonia. He knows he'd go to hell for that.
When we found your wife, her jewelry had been removed. Was she wearing her religious medallion last night?
Sure. She always wore that.
What about the charm bracelet? Was she wearing that?
You know about that? She never wore it. She didn't like the message. She kept it locked up in that box of hers.
Keep it to yourself, kid. Let it eat away at you like poison. You're going back into a cell. We'll be waiting when you're ready to spill your guts.
Are you taking my wife's murder seriously?
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
Can you drive to this one? Sir, Wait, you look familiar.
Hey, from the bar, right? What brings you here?
LAPD, Detective Phelps and Galloway.
Clem Feeney. What can I do for you?
Did you happen to see a young woman last night? 21 years old, Hispanic?
Sure, she came by last night. Why do you ask?
She was wearing a necklace?
I didn't notice.
You weren't paying attention, Feeney?
Hey, you're getting the wrong idea.
What about a charm bracelet?
No, can't say I noticed that.
The young lady arrived around midnight?
Yeah, something like that. Used the phone for a cab and then left.
You already knew Mrs. Maldonado, didn't you, Clem?
Sure, I met her before. She seemed like a nice lady. Her husband went apeshit one day when he caught me talking to her. She had me back until last night. Hey, maybe you got time to stand around, copper. I don't. Hey, maybe you got time to stand around, copper. I don't. Okay, I'll go then if we're done.
Where did she go from here?
She wanted a cab, but I couldn't get her one. I was about to offer to drive her, but a car pulled up and she got into that.
Can you describe the car?
Brown Ford Coupe, I think. She seemed to know the guy.
Do you mind if we look around?
Why would you want to do that?
Because we say so.
I guess you can. Don't you have to get a court order or something? I have rights.
Clem? Shh. No wonder he stays open late at night. People have to get their vitamins. Check through this stuff before we get back out there. Hey, Cole, let's get moving.
So what are we hiding in here? This thing needs a combination. Cut someone who was already dead.
It's a typical power thing. Once the stiff is dead, the creep usually feels they can do whatever they like. You must have seen it during the war. This fruit stall punk gets about 10 seconds to explain before I pull his fucking arms off.
Clem!
God damn it, get after him, Cole. I'll try to shoot out his tires. Wish me luck.
You should have grabbed him when we had the chance, Phelps.
When we had the chance, we didn't know he was our guy. Strange that he'd leave a trail of blood right back to his own market.
Maybe he wanted to be caught. A lot of them do.
Phelps, you gotta get me closer.
It's almost too perfect, isn't it?
There's no such thing as too perfect.
Hit him! Clean this asshole off the road. Keep it steady and I'll try to bust his tires. Hit him, Cole. Spin him out.
You're a sick man, Clem. You need help.
Now, lads, what am I to do with you? I give you a perfectly good murder. A case any homicide man would be happy with. An affront to our way of life and our Californian dream, and a chance to deliver some retribution. Are you not believers, lads? Homicide men are the right hand of God. You need to back out of here slowly and take a long, hard look at yourselves and your methods. Ask yourself what you are prepared to do to put these creatures behind bars. It's the streets for the two of you until I can find some forgiveness for the foppish behavior you've been exhibiting.
Sarge, why are the guys giving it to the doggies? They're riding in trucks, numbskull, while you're marching.
They look pretty badly beat up.
Yeah, they do at that. Scuttlebutt says it's pretty hard going down south.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Recon always leads.
How can we fail, Skip, with the Shadow leading the show?
Who the fuck is the Shadow?
Lieutenant Phelps, the Shadow of Death.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He's a quiet fucker, Sarge. Never hear the bastard coming.
You're sitting there, field stripping a cigarette, and suddenly he's there looking down on you.
Why do you think we keep saluting that Jap-loving son of a bitch? He's bad juju.
That's enough out of you three. Bad juju? Where were you dragged up? A swamp?
Good morning, gentlemen, and what a grand morning it is, too. We have just cause for celebration. Galloway and Phelps are sending another fiend to San Quentin. A nice showy trial, and he'll be strapped down with gas seeping into his tiny reptile brain. Now, the fresh business. Galloway and Phelps, the task is at hand. The address is on the hill, north downtown off Fremont Avenue.
Skipper, is the new letter genuine?
Now, boys, we all know how many imbeciles have confessed in the short case. Ray Pinker will let us know in good time.
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45.
I don't care. I don't go in for letting gangsters off scot-free.
Oh, little twist. She was 13 if she was today.
A fine morning indeed. We keep locking them up, but the bodies keep piling up.
Yeah, Californians love a fad, Phelps. As long as the bricks hold up at San Quentin, there'll always be killers in this town to send.
Which is it, girls? Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra? He's good looking for a policeman. You ought to meet Joe's buddy. He's nice. Really. Is he in some kind of trouble? I don't want to be rude, but you're bothering me.
What
Well,
are we
you can
waiting
only
for?
dream.
The thing was, he was a really nice guy. I felt lousy tolerating him.
What?
Greetings from sunny California. When's it going to stop?
You can drive.
First the letter, and now another body. Come on, you can't keep on telling me there's not a killer still out there.
You know, Phelps, all these arrests on your record are giving you a reputation. You don't want them turning into unsolveds.
Getting a vicious killer off the streets is more important than my reputation.
Really?
And besides, landing a big fat marlin is more impressive than an ocean full of minnows.
The minnows maketh the man, Phelps. You can't always hit home runs. Sometimes you just gotta make first base.
Detectives? Phelps and Galloway, homicide.
Scene's secure. The rest of the patrolmen are going door to door, canvassing for witnesses.
Thanks. Keep me informed.
Will do, Detective.
This looks awfully familiar.
I think that's the impression the boys from the Examiner took with them as well.
There's nothing original under the sun. Why should murder be any different?
What do we have so far?
Not much trace evidence to speak of. Storm blew in around 10 last night, and the rain washed most of it away.
And the body?
Looks like she was tipped out of an automobile from the tire tracks and superficial injuries. Strangled with a length of rope. And for my money, it's triple grade again.
Time of death?
From her temperature, maybe 2 a.m., but it was cold last night.
Usual head injuries.
Blunt force trauma. Knock him over the head, then strangle and mutilate. No message with this one.
At least she was left clothed.
I doubt very much he was concerned with her dignity.
The green silk dress is very distinctive. Any sign of her other shoe?
No. And no handbag or other personal effects.
There appears to be a dry cleaning label. Superior Laundry Services, F1363.
This isn't what we're looking for.
No drag marks. The killer was moving around, surveying the scene.
Seems irrelevant.
Our driver and our killer are most likely one and the same.
Detectives, I've been working the houses across the street and up the block. This lady thinks she has something for us.
Detective Phelps, LAPD.
I'm Mrs. Barton, Catherine Barton. I live just across the way.
Did you see anyone around here last night?
Not last night, but yesterday, early evening, I saw that awful hobo.
Do you have a description?
Tall, gaunt, horribly disfigured. I think he may have had an accident in the war. He's a very scary, angry man.
Any idea where we might find him?
One of the hobo camps around here. He's some kind of hobo leader. They all follow him around.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been a big help.
Of course. Anything I can do to help. I'd hate to think that something so ghastly could happen right here and nothing be done about it.
Hey, Cole, let's get moving.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an address on Superior Laundry Services.
Just a moment. Superior Laundry Services, 1260 West 1st Street.
Can you track down reports of hobo camps in the vicinity of Signal Hill?
Just a moment, Detective. There's a large camp under the bridge on Grand between Temple and Sunset.
Thanks, ma'am. You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
I think we ought to investigate the hobo lead.
Well, if you think we ought to, then I guess we ought.
Holy Father. No, don't leave me alone. I fought. Where's my wife? I'm the one. Nobody cares about me. I took a
We're looking for a tall man with a disfigured face. You know him?
Huh? What? I fought in 2 wars, you know, son. I think I earned some peace and quiet.
The bum isn't here.
Look at these people.
We should follow the lead. These guys can wait.
How come the cops can't ignore us the same way the government does?
Calling you stupid would be an insult to stupid people.
Phelps, leave him be. At least the rain stopped. You can change back into those white bucks now.
hasn't given me anything to go on.
Did you read about the woman who stabbed her husband and then pushed him in front of the car? That's the cop.
Slow down!
You got a reason to be acting like a jackass?
What's your beef with this guy,
Thing about
Phelps?
egotists, they don't talk about other people.
There are three kinds of people. Those who can count and those who can't.
Phelps, leave him be.
Calling you stupid would be an insult to stupid people.
I don't know who you're looking for, and I don't want to know.
You know the way. You can drive. You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
No message.
Excuse me?
There was no message.
Where?
On the Vic. The last bodies had something written onto them. This one didn't.
I'm failing to follow you.
Can't be the same guy is what I'm saying, all right? Before you start trying to link this to Maldonado and all the others.
There are more factors to consider than the messages, Rusty.
This doesn't fit your pattern, Cole. End of conversation. Understand?
Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. We're investigating a case, and one of your laundry labels came up. F1363.
If you give me a minute, I'll go find a register and you can take a look. You take a look for yourself. I've got clothes that need pressing.
You wrote the number down on that dress, is it there?
Mrs. T. Terrellson, 43 Emerald Street, Westlake.
You're behind the wheel.
Fine. Where are we headed? I've got a feeling we're about to meet another wife killer.
You've always got that feeling, Rusty.
Yeah, and it's usually correct.
Please, for once, can you not let your assumptions color your detective work?
Just you wait. Nordic types show a particular disposition for this stuff.
Hello? Yes?
Detectives Phelps and Galloway. Is your wife home, sir?
My wife went out last night and she hasn't come home.
Can you describe your wife and what she was wearing?
We were out at a friend's place, Bobby Ross's, for a party. She was kind of dolled up. She had her green silk dress, open-toed white shoes. Those are her favorite shoes.
Can we come in, Mr. Tarleton? I'm afraid we have some rather bad news. Do you have someone who can look after your children, Mr. Tarleton?
I've been trying to arrange a sitter. Look, tell me what's happened.
I'm afraid your wife was murdered last night. Her body was found this morning. We're very sorry for your loss. I know this is a difficult time, Mr. Tarleton, but we are going to need you to answer some questions. First, we're going to take a look around.
What for? You don't think
It's procedure. You see to your girls.
Stay here till Daddy's finished talking to these men.
Where's Mommy?
Everything's gonna be all right, sweetheart.
We would like Mommy to come home now, Daddy.
What's the problem, Tarleton? Let him search. You got nothing to hide. You want to hear something funny, Tarleton? Some bums think filling out a missing
Operator,
person
give me
report
dispatch.
actually rules him out as a suspect.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Can you run an address for a Bobby Ross? Then send some uniforms over.
Would you like him picked up?
No. Suspect says he was with Ross last night. We need to confirm the alibi.
I'll get a prowl car dispatched.
Thank you. Need to check if she was a regular. If you'd excuse me, ladies. It would take a smarter man than me to connect that. I'll be out of your way momentarily, ladies. So she went out without her handbag?
She'd have to be in quite a state to leave this behind. At least she was spared that particular indignity. You can see if Pinker can match the impression to the crime scene. Maybe if... No. Baron's bar again. Someone must be real sweet on this dive. I wonder why the picture was turned down. I don't think this is going to help us. Doesn't look like anything. For the record, Mr. Terrellson, what is your wife's name?
Teresa.
Do you have any idea why anyone would want to hurt your wife?
No. Everyone loved Teresa. She was so full of life. It can't be anyone who knew her.
So you don't know anyone who would want her dead?
No, I don't.
You said you went to a party at Bobby Ross's place?
That's right. Bobby had a bunch of people over. We were having a good time. She said she was bored and decided to leave.
You let your drunk wife leave the party and go off on her own?
Look, I was angry. I was having a good time. She has to go and ruin it. We always have to do what she wants to do. Last night she wanted to go dancing.
Any idea where?
Where she always goes. A bar down on North Beaudry Avenue. Baron's bar. She goes there, drinks too much, gets maudlin, and calls me. I go and bring her home.
Mr. Terrellson, was Teresa happy at home?
Yeah, I think she was.
I think you're in an unhappy marriage, Lars. I think you're lying, and you would like to get it off your chest.
You telling me my wife was unhappy? What proof do you have of that? Why aren't you out there trying to catch the person who did this?
When was the last time you saw your wife?
Around 8:30. The card game at Bobby's was wrapping up. I played out my hand and drove home here. I paid the sitter and went to bed.
In sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, Lars.
And you're the perfect husband, I suppose.
If Bobby Ross doesn't confirm your story, we are going to come back here and pick you up. This doesn't look good, Lars. Appreciate your time, sir.
You believe this guy's story?
Kind of rings true.
This is the place.
You can drive.
And where exactly are we going? What are we waiting for?
He's the cop that arrested that movie producer. It's about time some of those movie people went to jail.
Hey, Cole, let's get moving.
Gents, drink?
Phelps and Galloway, LAPD.
I'm Benny Clough. This about Teresa Terrellson?
Yes, it is.
I heard about it on the radio. They're saying it was that Black Dahlia freak again? God damn it. Yeah, I rang that husband of hers. The babysitter said he was out.
If you don't mind, we have a few questions. What time did Teresa leave?
Around 10:30, I think.
On foot? In a car? By bus? How was it?
She called for a cab.
Did you get the number?
Sure I did. I like Teresa. The only time she has a drink is when things aren't going so good at home. I was worried about her.
I can't decide between the tuna fish and the chicken.
Put out an APB on the cab. 3591. Should be traceable. Who was she with? We've had reports about a tall, gaunt-looking hobo. He wasn't here last night?
I get plenty of bums in here, but nothing to fit that description.
You've never served him.
Not a chance. By the sound of it, he's the type of bum you send packing right when he walks through the door.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Clough. We'll take it from here.
Hey, no problem.
Any of your regulars know the broad?
Ask him yourself.
LAPD, keep your seats, boys. This won't take a second. We can't let the son of a bitch get away.
2 club sandwiches. Thank you, waitress.
Go, Phelps, get after it. Come on, we got a ride. Get in and drive.
No time to wait, Rusty!
God damn it, get after him, Cole. I thought you were gonna leave me there.
Who knows what this guy will pull when he's cornered? We could have a killer on our hands.
Hit him! Clean this asshole off the road.
I don't think the killer would be kicking back in the bar where he met the Vic in.
Listen, a creature of habit is your killer. For some reason, they're sticklers for routine. Come on, Phelps, you're letting this... God damn it, get after him, Cole. I thought you were gonna leave me there.
Who knows what this guy will pull when he's cornered? We could have a killer on our hands.
Don't go to sleep on me. Get me back in close.
I don't think the killer would be kicking back in the bar where he met the Vic in.
Listen, a creature of habit is your killer. For some reason, they're sticklers for routine. Hit it! Clean this asshole off the road. I'll try to shoot out his tires. Wish me luck. Hit him, Cole. Spit him out. All right, you got me.
Hands behind your head.
Not enough.
Name.
Richard Bates. What is it you want?
I'll ask the questions. Firstly, why did you run?
I don't mix with cops if I can help it.
Last night, you went drinking with a lady in the bar. Now she's dead, and your face is all messed up.
I'm in the clear on that. She preferred a sailor. You could lay it off on him. Are we finished?
You sure you and the sailor didn't take her somewhere and things got out of hand?
Even cops need evidence. You got nothing on me that links me to that woman. Hate to say I told you so. Are we done?
So what happened when you left the bar?
Sailor boy laid one on me. A cheap shot. After that, I don't know.
What happened to the woman?
Your guess is as good as mine.
You're coming in with us, Bates.
But I'm not your guy. What exactly am I being run in for?
You have a record, you ran from us, and there's the fact that I don't like you. That's 3 strikes in my book.
Take him to Central. He's a material witness in a murder case. Find him a cozy cell.
Richard here knows the drill.
I survived.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need an APB out on a yellow cab, number 3591. Ask dispatch to relay all sightings to car 11K.
No problem. I'll get on the radio.
Were there any incident reports filed in the vicinity of Barron's Bar on North Beaudry Avenue? We're tracking a sailor who was involved in a fight outside the bar.
I can check the reports, Detective. I have a message for you from Captain Donnelly. Message reads, James Jessup, U.S. Navy able seaman, has information relevant to your case. Jessup is currently being detained at Central Station.
Could be our man. Thanks. You're behind the wheel.
Fine. Where are we headed? What are we waiting for?
He's in interview 2.
Thanks. What do you make of him?
Sailor on furlough who looks like he's in trouble and knows it.
Detectives Phelps and Galloway. We know why you're here, Jessup, so it would be best if you answered our questions truthfully.
I don't want any trouble. That's why I'm here. I heard on the radio about this lady getting killed. I got leave from my CO to come down straight away.
So why did you kill her?
I didn't kill anyone. Look, you need to believe me.
Let's start at the beginning. You went to Barron's Bar. What time did you arrive?
I got a 24-hour pass. I got there around 7.
That's where you met Teresa Terrelson?
Sure. We had a couple of drinks.
And you started talking.
She looked good in her green dress. Up close, she was a little older than I thought, but like I said, I only had a 24-hour pass.
You had a fist fight with Richard Bates over Mrs. Terrelson.
You met the guy? He's a creep. You should take a look at him for this.
He's pointing the finger directly at you, Jessup.
I only had one night before I was back in the tub. He had all the time in the world to look for some action. I belted him. I'd do it again. She was better off with me.
Sure. You're a shining example of chivalry, Jessup. If your story doesn't check out, Jessup, we're hanging you out to dry. Can you put the guy in 2 in a cell and inform the commander?
Sure, Detective. Got a message for you. Sighting of your disfigured hobo on Grand between Temple and Sunset. And it looks like the Beau has a record, too. He's wanted in connection with 2 female assaults.
Thanks. Can you drive to this one?
And where exactly are we going? Three suspects in the can and one in the hoof. And still no hard evidence on any of them.
KGPL to car 11K, 11K.
LAPD, we'd like a word with you.
Save it for someone who's interested. They're fascists. Come to move us on and steal what little we have left.
6 rounds won't get us far. I need you to stay copacetic. You need to hold out to the cavalry line. How do we do that? Like this. Buckshot, keep him down, Phil.
If you want
These
your
men know they're
rightful
harboring
share,
a murderer?
we need to fight for it!
Your disciples know what you did last night?
I hope you don't need help with this.
What's your name?
Comrade Stalin.
Very funny. We'll find out from your personal effects.
Stuart Ackerman.
You're under suspicion for murder, Ackerman. We're taking you downtown.
You can't do anything more to me than what the Japanese have already done.
The Kremlin's over here, Phelps. Toss it and see what you find.
Ackerman doesn't look like much of a dancer. Looks familiar. Safe bet it'll match the mark under Teresa Terrelson's chin.
Still working, Jack. I'm off to the Lighthouse Club in Santa Monica.
Hello, Jack.
Mr. Benson, this is Courtney Sheldon. He's a buddy of mine from the war.
Well, I'm sure you two will want to polish some old war stories. Good evening, Jack. Mr. Sheldon.
Good night, sir. Take a seat, Courtney.
We need your help, Jack.
I told you I would have nothing to do with that.
I'm fine too, Jack. Medical school's going well. I got a part-time job.
Do dope peddlers need part-time jobs?
We made a mistake and we're in trouble, Jack. A local gangster, Mickey Cohen, is putting on the squeeze.
So hand it over, walk away. What's stopping you?
We had a deal with them that they would dole it out slowly. They said they would supply abortion clinics and doctors, but they've been moving it on to addicts.
and they can't cope with the purity.
So your problem is with gangsters being dishonest.
My problem is that people are dying, and that if this gets back to us, we'll all end up in jail.
So how am I supposed to help, Courtney? This isn't the war. I can't just wave a magic wand and clean up your mess.
We want you to negotiate, Jack.
The only thing these guys understand is force, Sheldon. They got to the top back east by proving to be more vicious than the English, the Irish, and the Dutch. They make their own laws. That's the nature of a secret society. God's sake, Courtney, you want to be a doctor. How can you fight with that?
We are better trained, Jack.
I didn't make it through the war to come back to this kind of shit, Sheldon.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Fine. Where are we headed?
The husband has an alibi, but no real motive other than neglect. Jessup's alibi checks out. Bates is a recidivist. He'll be pulling the same shtick until we put him away for good. Ackerman has history, opportunity, hard evidence. What motive?
We have the evidence. We know she was here. All we need is a confession and we can charge the bum with murder. We're going this way.
Ackerman, you were in the Marines.
How do you know?
The Corps selected big guys for flamethrower duty. That's how you got the burns.
Life expectancy was 5 minutes for a guy in flamethrower detail. What kind of a government puts weight like that on a man's shoulders?
You'll get no argument from me. It was a heavy load.
You feeling sorry for this smelly fuck?
Why did you kill Mrs. Terrelson?
I have no recollection of the people I have killed.
You hate women, Ackerman?
More than you could ever imagine.
How much did you hate Mrs. Terrelson?
I ache to put my seed in them. Afterwards, I have no use for them.
A bus driver dropped Mrs. Terrelson near your camp around 2 a.m. Why did you take her up to the hill?
Which hill? I have many places. I go where I please.
You're lying, Ackerman. There must be a reason. You could have killed her in the camp.
My reasons are my own. Can you disprove what I say? You do your worst. You're the willing tool of a despotic state designed to victimize the unfortunate.
Stuart Ackerman, I am charging you with the murder of Teresa Terrelson.
A man down on his luck I can abide. But a filthy red who chooses to live outside the rules of society, I cannot stomach. Maybe poor Teresa Terrelson will provide the catalyst we need. I've spoken to the chief and the mayor, and I think it's time we send some men in to remove the godless and send them on their way over the county line. A grand day that will be, gentlemen. And a grand result you have brought me. You two are fast becoming my finest crusaders.
The blood.